Good morning, everybody. I was thinking, so we're obviously on the mats, and this is not on the list. This is not. What are some things that are completely normal to jiu-jitsu people, but completely strange to everybody else? Like if you were just to do this in public. I've got one. Yeah. Like generally, like just kind of being barefoot. Well, you can't see my feet, right? But like we're barefoot on the mat because you take your shoes off on the mat. But another one is like trimming your fingernails and toenails.
Like on the mat?
Like just in front of people. Like generally people like they won't do that. They're like, that's gross. And like, sometimes like and it's not like you do all of them, right? Like we try to do a lot at home, but sometimes you got like one little sharp edge and you don't want to like scratch anyone's neck up, right? Yeah. So you're like, I'm going to trim fingernails. Like that's a really, really normal one.
Yeah. I always find myself running to the trash can by the front desk and kind of hiding because, you're like, are parents looking at me? Is that good hygiene? Hiding underneath the
desk?
I
mean, like, I just like, because it's important, right? So I was thinking like, and we do like, we were, another thing is I find myself sitting on the ground a lot. And I don't realize how weird it is till people look at you.
Like outside of the gym?
Yeah, so like if Landon, like whatever, like we're going out somewhere with the kids and Landon's just like freaking out.
Yeah.
Like he's freaking. So we'll go on some walks, but then sometimes they're like, man, I'm walked out. So I'll literally just kind of sit like instruction style. Like I'm gonna sit and watch and I'm gonna sit like in whatever aisle we're in, right?
Yeah.
And I don't realize how weird it is. Then everyone's looking at you like what the, what's this guy doing? And so like, cause then I'm sitting here with Landon, like playing with him.
Yeah.
And that's like really, really comfortable for me. So, I don't know if you guys train jiu-jitsu, if you have any weird, I'm looking at the wrong camera. If you have any weird sort of habits, I'd love to hear about those. But, what are we talking about today, Coach?
I know jiu-jitsu people have lots of strange habits.
We don't converse well, generally speaking. Like, it's like, you ever met a person where like everything is about them? And like whenever you bring up a topic, they'll talk to you about how it relates to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's jiu-jitsu guys, but with jiu-jitsu, like you bring up anything, right? You literally bring up anything and they're like, yeah. So I was at jiu-jitsu the other night and you're going to be like, dude, I don't care. I don't care.
So. It's funny you say that because if I'm crossing the street with like my kids or we're out in public or I'm with Nancy, my wife, like I never like grab her hand or the kid's hand like a normal person would. I'm usually going to grab a shirt like this. And if I have to grab my wife or my kid's hand.
Well, you can tell you train in the gi a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And even though I'm like, okay, let me get a dominant grip. I find myself doing that all the time. It's never like a normal, okay, hold my hand or let's, watch out. It's like, okay, let me get an underhook or let me get a good grip.
It's definitely affected my marriage a little bit. Like not in a bad way, but I can't have a normal, because Amanda, you would think she would learn, right? Like, so she would like whatever. If we're sitting somewhere and I put my arm around her and she'll like lean into me, I can't help myself but start to like work at his. I literally can't help her.
It's like stop.
And she's literally like it's to the point. Years ago she used to think, she's like, stop. People are gonna think you're beating me. like don't touch me. And it does. So those are a few of them. But today we're talking about. So what preface this conversation is I've had several people come in, join the team. That were either like the law enforcement, served in the military, at one point did some type of combat training or combat somewhere, whether it's combatives, whether it's law enforcement. And they were like, I haven't done it for several years and I want to get back into it because things are just kind of settled down and it's getting a little too comfortable. Like they're learning that somewhere. Right, because to live the American dream, the whole American dream is prefaced around a comfortable life. Like you got the 2.5 kids, you got the white picket fence, you got a 40-hour-week job, you get the weekends off, you take a couple week paid vacation. In 40 years, you can retire and live on 40%, assuming that's at all realistic nowadays. And then that's it. And then you live, and then you maybe have some grandkids, and then you pass, and then the next generation does it. Like that's the American dream. What they don't tell you though is that dream is actually broken, and it's far less fulfilling than they would have you believe, right? And I don't even know who wrote who wrote that American dream. When was it written?
That's a good question.
Right, because like to me, like I have friends right now. Literally, I have friends right now. They asked me to go on vacation with them this week, and I was like, well, for one, we live in Michigan, so people come to Michigan to vacation. Why would I leave here when we have great weather? Number two, like their agenda was like, oh, dude, it's gonna be so. You would actually enjoy this. It's gonna be so laid back. It's just this nice lake, and we go fishing for a little bit, and we don't really do much. I was like, for how many days? They're like, for 7. I was like, 7 days. I said, they have jiu-jitsu down there? They're like, yeah. I was like, that's still not enough, man. Like I'm gonna need like rock climbing or like I don't know something physical. Something like 7 days. I would be the most miserable person you ever met. You know, that's just kind of me. So what I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Why is a comfortable life? Why is that American dream so dangerous?
First of all, I was talking to a new member that came in last week, and she was, I forget what country she was from. She was either from a Hispanic country. It might have been a Hispanic country somewhere in a Latin country. People think when you, and I've met people overseas, like in Jerusalem, people think that they literally think that, you know, I want to go to America, and you get off the plane and you get here. They literally think like, okay, you come to America, here's a bag of money.
Here's a bag of money.
Yeah. They think you get off the plane, there's a bag of money.
I mean, depending on the situation.
You could argue that's true. You could argue that's true. But like Americans, we work morning till night.
Yeah.
Like we have no.
A lot of us.
Yeah. So a lot of Americans work morning till night. They have no life, and like that American dream in this country is not what people. It is, but it's not what people think it is, because you gotta hustle to get that comfortable life. And I think we get. It's just a side note, but in this country, like we get caught up in just doing nothing but working.
Yeah.
In other countries, like they're done working by the mid part of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, they got like they have a comfortable life that we don't have, like, you know, the family and just the relaxing, being present in the moment and the time, and just enjoying where you're at in that time versus thinking about tomorrow, hustle, work, and just thinking about go.
Yeah.
So
what do you think plays a part of that? Because I've never been. I mean, I went to Canada for like 2 days as a kid, right? Like, so I've never really been outside of the country, talked to a lot of people. And listen, there are a lot of countries, there are a lot of oppressed countries. You look at Korea, you look at China, you know, you look at even Russia, right? Yeah. Like, so there are a lot of countries where things are quite a bit different, right? Yeah. Like we're overall really, really blessed in America.
Definitely.
So there, definitely. You know, there are, but then there are also countries like you take like, the focus is, you know, like that American dream has turned into a rat race.
Totally.
And it's turned into a rat race for like you're working at a job you don't enjoy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You're working at a job you don't enjoy.
Yeah.
And like, so now we're seeing, honestly,
people settle. That's why people like, people settle. Well, let me get comfortable.
Secure. Well, they trade their enjoyment for security, or perceived security.
Totally.
Yeah. Remember how secure Ford was?
Yeah.
Then they had all the layoffs in like what, 2012, 2013. Remember how secure GM was till the government had to bail them out? Like those were secure jobs.
Yeah.
Those are secure jobs.
And talk about secure. Like I know a few people who took the buyout from Ford's. They were getting like $50,000 to $100,000 just to go.
Wow.
Just leave. No more benefits. No more. No more benefits that come with putting your time in a big company like that. So yeah, you want to talk about comfortable?
Yeah.
$100,000 today, or secure your future with the job.
Yeah, I think, the danger of a comfortable life, and in short, is we weren't designed, like the human body wasn't designed, and I believe that God didn't design us to just relax and enjoy your days in entertainment. Like if you rewind the tape 2 or 3,000 years, like 3,000 years ago, we'll do 2,000 years ago, we'll do like ancient Rome, right? That was hard, like the amount of effort required just to kind of live, like was pretty paramount. Like it was like you were dealing with a lot of physical labor. Okay, you were dealing with a just to make a meal. Like you look at the amount of work that goes into making a meal. Like it wasn't uncommon for families to spend a couple hours to make breakfast or a couple hours to make lunch, and then war was always imminent.
Yeah.
So like the soldiers were like stayed ready. Yeah. And I don't mean stayed ready like they were on post beyond a 50 caliber ready to pull the trigger. Like they stayed ready for hand-to-hand combat and artillery and things of that nature. So that was and that was a definitely far more dangerous time, but like that's kind of what the human body's designed for. Like that, and the human brain, you're designed to overcome those struggles, right? Now, here is it's not a question on the board, but you get to choose your struggle. I was listening to Mike Stewart Jr. Actually, I didn't watch the whole video, but he made something that was interesting, and I've been dwelling on it. He said, you can choose your struggle, or your struggle will be chosen for you.
No doubt.
Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
Like people always, like I get, like family mentions to me a lot. They're like, you do too much. I was like, well, I mean, maybe, yeah. But like anything that I'm going to choose to struggle with or encounter, I'm going to enjoy the struggle of the process. Like I would much rather, like we had to, what did I have to do? Do you ever have tasks that you hate?
Yeah.
Like you're like, dude, I just like it may only take 30 minutes, but you hate every single second of it.
Yeah, like paint the bathroom or put some nails in the wall or something came down. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I cannot stand that.
Yeah,
stuff.
so that's a task that you hate for whatever reason. Maybe you just don't like it. Okay. Or maybe you're not super skilled in it, so it's kind of difficult for you, right? Because it's not something you do every day. And so like for me, anything really organized, anything like we'll say you start getting into like scheduling, like dealing with scheduling or dealing with meticulous things. Like the irony is I'm not bad at that stuff. With everything in my being, I hate it. Right. So like I was working on a schedule for like 45 minutes and I look over at her and she's like, why are you so angry? I said, I hate doing this. And I'm not the best at it. Like, can you come help me with this? Because you are going to be way better at this. I'd rather spend 5 hours doing something I enjoy than 45 minutes doing something I hate.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm at. So like, but people, they're sacrificing 40 to 45 hours of their life for an extra what? $3 an hour? It's what, $6,000 a year. And you're gonna remedy that. Like I think the restaurant industry is a really good version of this. You're gonna piss that money away to overcompensate for how much you hate your job with like more food, entertainment, vacation, right? So imagine if you woke up every day and like you were like excited to go to work. What would that feel like?
I know what it feels like.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying this is a rhetorical question, right? Like
it feels like I mean, it feels like you're not. I don't know. I mean, I can tell you that going to work where you don't enjoy your job, it just takes away from who you are as a person. It takes away from like you have no creativity that comes out in you. You know, people can't see the good inside you. Like if you go to work, if you're going to do something that you don't enjoy every day, people can't get to see like, you know, like what you have to offer.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And that's I think that's a really important thing. Like case in point, like we started this podcast an hour early today because we got, you know, like about 30 minutes, kids are going to be all over these indoor mats, like monkeys on a jungle gym, right? But like they're for the summer program, we started this an hour early. I used to start my job at 8 a.m. and I hated it. Like I hated it.
Yeah.
Right. But like we routinely, like we're routinely waking up early, you know, we're waking up early to go to the airport, to go to different like things, and that's part of like just the job. So what are some types of struggles that people encounter, that people can encounter, just general struggles?
When doing what?
Like what are some struggles that they can create for themselves? Because it's important to create a struggle.
Well, if you're doing like a comfortable, being comfortable means you're taking the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're doing something that you enjoy, it doesn't really seem like a struggle. You know what I mean? So it could essentially be harder. Like if we're talking about jiu-jitsu, for example, versus going to the gym, it's probably like tenfold harder than just going to the gym, because like your shirt says, weights don't hit back.
Right.
You know, so if you're going to the gym and working out, it's hard. It's not easy. It's constant resistance on you. But if you're doing something like jiu-jitsu, oh my God, like you have a resisting person that's trying to stop every single action that you're doing, every single movement, every single action that you're doing. But if it's enjoyable, you can't really feel that, oh my God, this is so hard.
Yeah. So what are they, I guess, how would they know? Because someone can say, well, you know, I work out, right? We're next to Planet Fitness. Like
Yeah.
I work out, but we have people all the time coming here from Planet Fitness because like they're like that gets boring.
Yeah.
That gets old. That gets fatigued. Right? It's monotonous.
Yep.
It's the same thing every day, 5x5s, you know, sets of 12 or whatever. So what are some, how will they know it's time? Like, what are some symptoms? How will you know it's time to change something up?
In your workout, or
Well, we'll just say we'll say your schedule.
give me an example.
So we'll say, your workout, we can use your workout. We'll start with the workout one. How will you know it's time to change your workout? Okay. Like when I would say when you really, really, really day after day dread going to it. Like we all have days. Like I got days here that I'm like, I'm not feeling it. Like this is going to be a really, really kind of really challenging day.
Yeah.
Right?
The one that pops out to me is like, when is it time to change your job or your workout? You're not getting results.
Yep.
It's not doing it for you. It's not making you feel like I'm progressing, I'm moving forward. It's not stimulating.
Right.
You know, you don't feel like you're growing because, you know, like we say, if you don't grow, you got to go.
Right.
So, yeah, it's time to change when you do not feel like you're growing physically, emotionally, socially. If you ask me.
But okay, so that's easy to say. But what if you got a wife and kids?
If you grow,
we're talking about your job. You can change your workout anytime you want with wife and kids.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, job or the gym. If you're not growing, then at your job, you're there like 40 hours a week, right?
40 hours a week is practically part-time. Like, honestly, like I don't know.
America, yeah.
I don't know too many people. I don't know too many people who are like, yeah, I worked 40 hours, not a minute over. I don't know anyone like that.
Yeah. If you're going to spend 40, 50 hours a week at a place where you're not growing, like you don't feel like you're contributing to growth or you're growing yourself, you're going to take that same attitude and mentality and you're actually going to deliver that right back to your mom, your dad, your wife, your children. If they don't see you grow, they're actually seeing you decline.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it's a really sad, like, just take, for instance, right? I had it's really strange. Like, you ever been to your high school reunion? No. Have you had one? You just didn't go?
Yeah, I've had a few.
Yeah, so I actually got expelled from high school. Fast forward 10 years, somehow I was on the board to set up the reunion. I'm not sure how it happened, but it did. And so, we're there. It's 10 years later. I'm practically a different person. Not practically. I'm drastically a different person.
When was the last reunion?
My last reunion,
yeah.
My 10 year, it was 17.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like 5 years ago. And yeah, which I'm totally different person from 5 years ago, right? So
totally.
Yeah. So but you have people that were like the exact same as in high school. They're like literally down to the wardrobe, their body language, their speech, and they're like failure to like their need to like avoid all social conflict and go smoke pot behind the building. Like literally, like I was like, that's really, to me, like that's really sad. Like that's really sad. Like that you haven't changed. Okay, that you haven't changed in 10 years. So 10 years, a tenth of your life has gone without growth. Like that's pretty wild. That's pretty bizarre. Like I can't fathom that. And now it's to the point to where like I think once you dial this in, like I've been in several different social settings, part of different like stages of my life where I stayed there way too long. Like way too long. Like I should have left year 2 and I left year 9. You know how angry that makes me? Like that makes me really, really like thinking about it. I shouldn't say angry, but regret is huge. Because what would I have done with that 7 years? Like you're in a place where you're not being valued, you're not being appreciated. You dread going, but here's the thing: what will people like? Honestly, what will people think? What will people think if I leave? If that's ever the question of what will people think, you need to take that action immediately, and you need to change the people who you're around.
I was watching this documentary series with Nancy the other day, and they were saying that, you know, before you can add value to the people around you, before you can have an impact of the people in your life, like the ones in your immediate circle and the ones you come in contact with, maybe your work, your gym, or a little bit of outside extracurricular activities, you have to add value to yourself. You have to complete yourself before you can add that value to anybody else. And you have to be whole before you can help make people whole or meet somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, like a spouse or something like that.
Yeah.
But so you have to complete yourself before helping somebody else.
Absolutely. So then how does, obviously this is the Metro Jiu-Jitsu podcast. How does Jiu-Jitsu help with that struggle? Right? How does Jiu-Jitsu help with
You give me an
that?
example. What do you think?
So let's take the mortgage broker. You work for Quicken, you got 2.5 kids, and your lifestyle is now set up to accommodate your $100,000 a year salary. You can't very well just quit and go be a banker making 50, right? Because you've just set, let's call it what it is. You've set your life up. You've got a mortgage and a couple car notes like that, like require that $100,000 salary. You got those golden handcuffs now. So you've set that up, and like you hate it, but you can't really like change. Right? You can't really change careers, not super easily. You got to make some lifestyle changes. What is something that you can do to better your mental health in that process? Absolutely, jiu-jitsu. Like absolutely. Like we've got people. I don't know if you saw Josh Keels, that war hero I was talking about. He's got I think he caught an EMT or something in Afghanistan. He's like
shot in the head.
Was it?
I'm almost positive he was shot in the head, and that's why his leg.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so his leg. Oh, it went down his nervous system. Okay, my bad. So they okay. But he was like, I came in honestly just to like get some activity. He's like, I'm now taking. I've cut back. I didn't even realize I've cut back on my painkiller medicine. I've cut back on
Oh my gosh! When I heard that, I was so happy.
Yeah, I've cut back on my painkiller medicine, and you can say, well, that doesn't make sense, right? That doesn't make sense. How can something as physical as jiu-jitsu help with that? Because it's psychosomatic. When your mind will absolutely have an effect on your body. Like this used to sound like voodoo to me. If you're telling me this even 6 years ago, I'd be like, whatever, bro, it's voodoo. It's voodoo. Like honestly, but like there's too much data now to support it. So like if your mind is in a really, really bad, like great place, it's going to have effects. Now, it's not going to cure you of everything, right? It's not just, this isn't just think it and make it happen. But like the negative is also true. If you're in a really, really bad place mentally, and you're really down, and like that will have effects, extremely negative effects on your body.
Yeah. And
so like, what does that look like? What are some types of struggles, or how does jiu-jitsu help with that? That's one way. Is you're like, knowing that you're going to struggle, that you may not be appreciated. And this is like, I'm living firsthand. You may not be appreciated at your job. You may not be valued at your job. You may not get a sense of fulfillment at your job. But every single person I know who trains jiu-jitsu gets that out of jiu-jitsu. Like every single person.
They get valued at.
They get valued, and this is not just of course. Yes, we own Metro. We want you to train here. I promise you, if you're training jiu-jitsu anywhere, we're happy. We're happy because that's the macro scale. More people training jiu-jitsu. It's part of our vision. So like they're like if you're training anywhere, like you will be happier.
Yeah,
you will be happier,
no doubt.
Like. But it's just gonna take time, and it takes effort, and it's not easy.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, why is a comfortable life a dangerous life? If you guys ever been on Instagram, I think he's on Instagram. There's a guy, I think his name is Rahul. He's kind of tan skin, darker skin, and he has one arm cut here. He's got just a little thump over here. Both of his legs are cut off, and he's
got like amputated.
He's got amputated at the arm.
Wow.
Both legs are amputated, and he only has one arm. And he is a ultra marathon runner and ultra marathon biker.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I actually got to spend some time with him at one.
He's got 3 prosthetics on. He's got a prosthetic arm and 2 legs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. And he swims. He bikes and he runs, and I spent like a few hours with him at one of the conferences that I went to, and you just look at him and you're like holy cow! Like his job, I don't know, his job is he runs marathons, he sprints, he doesn't sprint, he runs marathons, he swims, and like this is what he does all the time. He is constantly enrolling in these races and marathons, and it's amazing. And if you want to talk about somebody who's completely uncomfortable, like every day, all day long, it's crazy. And you look at him and you look at the guy's face. We'll have to pull one of those up and post it at another time. But you know how you look at people and you can just see like a brightness in their face.
Sure.
Yeah, and you know, like they're like he is in a like really good place.
Yeah.
And Josh is another one. Rahul is constantly in an uncomfortable state. Josh, another one, he was shot in the head in Afghanistan, and one of his legs is like very, like doesn't work basically.
Yeah.
You know, it does minimal work. He has a hard time pulling guard. He has a hard time sitting, and it's really stiff. You could see something visibly wrong with him, but he gets in here. And if you want to talk about uncomfortable and putting yourself in a very, very hard and challenging situation, Josh is doing it 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
And he's another one. You look at anybody who trains jiu-jitsu, whether it be here or whether it be any jiu-jitsu academy, they are genuinely happy. They are genuinely more at peace.
Yeah, more at peace, right?
Yeah, they're more at peace, and they're living a life every day, stepping out of their comfort zone and doing things that are very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And so like, and I think that's really important about that you sort of, you paint this in a macro scale, like where I'd love to say that jiu-jitsu will solve all your problems, right? Like that's not what we're selling. Jiu-jitsu will be like your gateway drug into realizing it's a possibility to feel like this. We've got some different, depending on the time of year, that we have some really stressful weeks around here. Yeah. Like the launch of the summer program is one. Like that's a 90-hour week pretty much, right? So like that. There's winter time's another one, right? New Year's around Black Friday is another one. So like we have those stressful times, and there's times
trunk or treat.
Yeah, Wyandotte Street Fair. That's 2 weeks. We're gonna be there, Wyandotte Street for interviewing people. So like that takes a lot of time and energy, right? So people think like they literally think we turn off this podcast and then we train jiu-jitsu for 8 hours. They're like, oh, that must be really nice. Like, that's like not really the case even at all. Like less than 10% of our time is spent training jiu-jitsu. We're doing other things like around jiu-jitsu. Like we're talking to people, we're working out to keep strong bodies, but we need jiu-jitsu just as much as the other person. Like if I get caught up running the jiu-jitsu academy, I will get stressed. Like I'm just like that, dude. Whatever. Like I will literally. It's been to the point to where I was like, I'm done doing this. Like I'm done doing this, and I'll get up and I'll go get my gi on. Like almost no matter how pressing it was, and like I'll call an emergency open mat, or I'll call you and be like, hey, you want to go to the gym or whatever, because like that's how much it's needed. And you're gonna be like, I'm just like, and then during that 90 minutes or 2 hours, whatever it is of jujitsu, like you can feel it just as if you're like during a massage or during when you take drugs, like muscle relaxers, like you can feel muscles relax. You can feel that everything that was in your head empty out.
Yeah.
Like and it's like, let me know if you've experienced this at the beginning, like during warm-ups, you're doing the warm-ups or you're doing that, you're still thinking about some things throughout the day. And then one by one they leave. So you start with like a whole cluster of things, then you're still kind of thinking about them. And then one by one, like especially during a match, those things just run out of your head because there's a 200-pound mammal trying to choke you, right? Or smack your head off the mat. So you're like, I'm not super concerned about my taxes at the moment, right? Like that. And then like the class is over. And if you were to make me bring up any one of those things I was thinking about, I'll be like, you're going to have to give me a minute. Like, you're going to have to give me a minute, right? Because I'm like you've drained that tank.
Yeah, imagine like doing an activity and an exercise. And I think anybody's experienced it on a macro level at the gym. Like when you're training at the gym, you're working out, you forget about the day-to-day grind and your responsibilities at work and family. Like imagine being able to like completely relieve yourself of any stress or like pressing responsibilities that you have to do that are just like, annoying. Like one of those things you have to do. Jiu-jitsu definitely clears all that out of your head. It's like the ultimate endorphin, the runner's high.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get the runner's high after a few minutes of running. I think it's like 15 to 20 minutes. You get that runner's high. Imagine getting that every single day after you're done with jiu-jitsu.
100%.
Yeah, it's a total drug. I said if you could put jiu-jitsu in a pill, it would be illegal. It makes you feel so good.
Yeah. So we've got like let's be fair, right? So like someone's gonna be watching this podcast. They're gonna be like, well, jiu-jitsu's not the answer. I got real problems, Professor Muhammad. I got real problems, Coach Dave. Like, what are your real problems? Okay. Let's talk about some of the real problems. Someone might be depressed. Someone might be broke.
Yeah.
Someone might be they're in an abusive relationship. They're in Section 8 housing. What are some other problems? You're a single mom, right? Single mom.
Yeah. I don't get to see my family enough. I work too much.
Like my job is restricting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, they changed it up at my job. Now we're doing this. That's probably the biggest one I hear in the work field. Oh, they're doing things different. They're changing it up. I got a new responsibility. Yeah. I have to do something else.
So like there and again, it kind of goes back to your priorities, right? Like I've done. Let's go through the list. Okay, let's start with someone's depressed. Okay, if you're depressed, like that's not a reason to not train jiu-jitsu. That's a reason to come in today. Like honestly.
Yeah. And if you're not feeling good and you feel like something is missing out of your life, you need to come in today. Jiu-jitsu is the answer. Not that jiu-jitsu is going to say, okay, it's going to fill the gap of what you're missing. What you're missing is off the mat. But when you come in and you train jiu-jitsu, you actually, for that like 1 or 2 hours, it's like going on a vacation.
Have you ever been depressed? I don't know that I've ever been clinically, based on the symptoms. I don't know that I've ever been clinically depressed.
I definitely have.
Yeah. So okay. So then maybe you can weigh in on this, right? Yeah. So I guess what are some of the symptoms of depression?
Symptoms of depression is you have like something is weighing you down on the inside. It's literally on the inside. It's weighing you down. You're disconnected from your friends. You're disconnected from your family. You're afraid to go out in public. You're afraid to talk to people. You're afraid to communicate with people. Yeah. You feel like you're losing. You feel like you're lost. You feel like you're not getting ahead. you're just kind of checked out in your own little box that just gets so small and so tight.
Okay.
And you scare yourself.
Okay.
When you're
all right. So why can't, help me understand then? Why can't you just, so it sounds like that would be really daunting to like pick up the phone and talk to a coach and like get an appointment to come in here. That would be a pretty daunting task for someone who's depressed.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that, instead of in person, over the phone is probably the easiest way to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't have to sit in front of you. And
okay. All right. So it's the face-to-face contact.
Yeah. You just don't want to be around people.
Why?
Like I said, you're depressed. You're not getting anywhere in your life. You're not doing anything, or you just feel like something's missing. You don't feel happy.
Are you happy feeling that way though?
No.
So what if we had the conversation, like let's have the mock conversation, right? Like I need you to act depressed for a second, which I don't know if I've ever witnessed him depressed, so this will be kind of interesting, right? Like so I need you to act depressed for a second. Like, hey, what's up, dude? So like let's say somehow we met face to face and I didn't come into your home, right? So like I was like, what's up, dude? So yeah, I think you should train jiu-jitsu. What do you think about that? Or you tell me you're depressed. I think you should train jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I'm depressed. I don't feel like doing anything.
Okay.
I'm not motivated.
So do you like feeling that way?
No.
Okay. So what if I told you that if you started training jiu-jitsu in 3 to 4 weeks, maybe sooner, you wouldn't feel the way you're feeling anymore. And you would actually, every day you went to train jiu-jitsu, you would feel motivated and you would feel energetic and your headspace would be way more, have a positive outlook, and you would actually look forward to the future. Is that something that you might want?
Yeah, but I don't think it's possible for me. I'm too depressed.
Okay, so you don't trust what I'm saying then. You don't believe me. That's what it comes down to.
No, I believe you, but I just don't think it'll work for me.
So you're the one exception out of thousands of people it's worked for. You're the one exception.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's make so either I'm a liar, okay, which is fine. You want to call me a liar? It's not true. Or you're lying to yourself. Which one is it?
I'm probably lying to
You're
myself.
probably lying to yourself. Yeah. So can you trust me just for 4 weeks? We try it out, and in 4 weeks you're more depressed, you can quit. Is that deal?
It's a deal.
Okay. All right. So that's kind of the situation, and that's where coaching comes in. That's where coaching comes in. Someone's depressed, play that, send that clip to your buddy Christian, make that clip, send it, post on Reels or whatever. Like that's kind of what that conversation looks like, because you're lying to yourself. Okay. And now you may have legitimate reasons to be depressed. You may have lost someone. I'm not saying depression isn't real. I'm just saying that you have to take the first step. And then once you have a coach to keep you accountable, they kind of help do a lot of the heavy lifting. So someone's broke. Here we go. Someone's broke. Let's cover that one. Someone's broke. Can't afford jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu, it's not a $50 a month activity. It's not. I'm not gonna lie to you. This ain't the 70s.
Bro, yesterday I was talking to Chris Pappas.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so good to see him.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy. He told me his daughter, Chris Pappas, is a college baseball player.
Okay.
So he understands what it means to compete, what it means to train. Chris Pappas is a collegiate athlete, and his daughter is kind of tall for her age. I think she's like 10 or 11, and she was great at basketball and baseball. He told me yesterday that she's doing dance 5 days a week. So
wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh,
that's active.
And I'm like, you know what, Chris? If your daughter's telling you, "Come on, Dad, let's go," then it doesn't matter what sport she's doing. You got her in a great activity, because at that age, sometimes they're like horses that sit down and don't want to be pulled.
Like you're dragging it.
But I'm like, Chris, how much do you pay for dance a month? He said $500 a month. They're like,
what type of dance?
Just dance classes. You have
no. This is not 500 so you can learn how to floss. 500 a month for.
So you have regular soccer, you have select soccer, you have regular basketball, you have travel soccer, you have regular dance, and you have a dance team. 500.
It's competitive though, right? Is it competitive? Help me understand. right? Help me understand.
I mean, how competitive can dance be for,
I mean,
for
it
a 10-year-old?
It could get you on like that. If you want to be like,
Got Talent?
yeah, if you want to be a professional dancer, you got to start at that age. Like, honestly, you have to start, like, from what I understand, same with gymnastics, right? Like, you kind of got to start, like, you can't just pick up gymnastics at 14 and be like, yo, I'm going to be like in the Olympics. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And in gymnastics, I know it's like 5, like that. Who was that? The little short chick who won the Olympics, like Simone. Yeah. So her mom was working 2 jobs to pay like $500 or $600 a month.
Yeah.
She ended up winning gold medals. I think you get $50,000 a piece per gold medal. Plus now she's got all the sponsorships. So that one paid off.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's like, just to say in general, jiu-jitsu, it's not. I'd love if we could charge $500. That'd be great if we could charge $500 a month. The market's not going to bear that, right? But it's not your it's not intramural basketball. It's not pickup volleyball. Like there's, especially a good academy with a full schedule and full-time coaches, like it's not $50 a month. So let's say someone, I can't afford it, right? I can't, like, let's be honest, okay? Like I can't afford it. I got kids. It's food on the table for my kids or jiu-jitsu. Which would you choose, coach?
I choose jiu-jitsu. I just cut back on personally. I've done that. I know what I'm getting. You're asking the wrong person.
So I would choose. You know what? Here's and I kind of take this. I've had a really, really large mindset change from the. So I used to think, okay, well, if I want something, I'll just kind of work and I'll make it happen, right? I'll work to make the money and then I'll find a way to make it happen. But as men, we do this, okay? Like as someone who works with husbands, and I'm in way too many husband groups, and I hear all about the terrible husbands out there, and like we'll put our wife's and our kids' needs above our own. Because it's natural, because it's socially acceptable. And again, I'm not saying to neglect them. That's the last thing I'm saying. Don't take my stuff out of context. But if you don't take care of yourself, then you're not being the best husband and father you can. Let me give you an extreme example. If I were to let myself go, and I'm now 400 pounds, I can't really, like, Daddy, can you come out and, like, walk with me? No, I can't. Daddy can't get out of the chair. Or no, I can't, like, Daddy, like, I've got too many health issues. I can't do that. Or no, I can't. I've got, I can't, honey, because I have a doctor's appointment, because I need to, like, if I'm an alcoholic, I need to go get dialysis or whatever because my liver's shot. Like, well, whatever it is, like, those are really extreme examples. Well, imagine if you were motivated. Like, you train jiu-jitsu two times a week. Now you're super motivated. You get a side hustle. You could make, I'm debating if I want to take the time to do this to prove this. It's summertime. You could make enough to pay for a year of jiu-jitsu by going to garage sales and flipping the stuff online in 3 months in your spare time.
Oh, no doubt.
You could do that.
Yeah, no doubt.
You could do that. There was a guy on Facebook he went to the free section of Facebook Marketplace, found free sofas, cleaned them up, paid off $60,000 in student loans.
Wow, good for him.
Took work, right? It took
awesome.
work. So big, I'm poor. Yeah, I mean, you're poor if you're waiting on, for one, it takes a little bit of, like, budgeting, right? Like, make sure you're pissing all your money away. But number 2, like, get a side hustle. Yeah. Like, it's not insurmountable. You're talking about like in a few hours to, like, 1 day's worth of work, you can pay for a whole month of jiu-jitsu, right? For sure. Like, so now you multiply that, like, on your spare time, like, go to open mat, and then after that, hit some garage sales. After that, do you know how much work you could get right now if you're like YouTube how to paint a wall? Then go on your local mom and pop groups and be like, hey, yo, anyone need the house painted? I got a free day. $500 a room. There you go. Boom. Like that's real. Like, that's very real. Like if you're like a skilled trade right now, and it doesn't take rocket science to paint a room.
Like, here's another hustle. I did this when I owned a landscaping company. I was cutting grass, right?
Cutting grass. Forgot all about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was cutting grass.
I hate it. That's why.
And I realized my average ticket was a certain amount. And I'm like, you know what? I can't get in and out of, even if I'm in and out of here in like, 8 to 12 minutes, I need to find another way to like increase my average ticket.
Sure.
And I knew nothing about the landscaping or anything. So what I would do is I would say, you know what? We can spray for weeds. Like you can go around and knock on people's door and say, would you like us to kill the weeds for you? You just get a spray bottle and spray. So I increased my average ticket by like 10 to like $15 a house.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Trimming trees, clip.
Yeah.
You don't even need to cut the grass. You walk around, go door to door, and everybody's got some weeds or branches that needs to be
100%.
cut. It's another way I increase my average ticket. So it doesn't take like rocket science. You just got to just be creative, and opportunities will fall in your lap.
Yeah, cleaning. Do you know how much house cleaners make now? I probably can't afford one, honestly. Like someone to clean my house, like to do a kind of a manager, just keeping it clean. You're like, hey, like you could probably for 1,000 square foot house. It's not in. I don't know. I mean, I feel like people would charge. I don't know, $200-300 for a 1,000 square foot house.
Yeah, it's $20 an hour.
$20. Well, if you're doing it hourly though, but that's not how they do it, because we know like we've had several cleaning companies like we're like, hey, like we spend more on our janitorial bill than a lot of academies spend on rent, right?
doubt.
Like cleanliness is very important to us here. So we're like, well, they just throw.
How much is that machine we just picked up?
It's like $5,000, $6,000.
$6,000.
$6,000 to scrub the mats, scrub and vacuum the mat, like because we don't like our other machine broke. We've been spraying them, disinfecting them for like 3 weeks, and I don't like it. Like they're clean. It's not as I'm looking at the wrong thing. Like they're clean, but it's not as clean as like we require.
Yeah.
And so that's another side hustle, right? Like there's like if you just go to Google, like how do I make money as a side hustle? There's only going to be probably 45 different options for you. Pick the one that fits. Pick the one that fits best.
Talk about a side hustle. I know we're talking about money, but a few years ago, I don't think I ever told you. It was I don't think Metro. I don't think it was right before we opened Metro, but like Uber and Lyft were big.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking like, you know what? How can I? What opportunities are there? How can I make a couple extra dollars? And Lyft had this thing where you could be a Lyft driver, and if you're going to if I'm going from point A to point B, you put in your address, and Lyft gives you a pickup that somebody happens to be
on your route.
Yeah. On your route.
Yeah.
And I had I think I had 4 or 5 nutrition stores at the time, and I'm like, it's not. I'm going there anyway. Let me try.
Yeah. Okay. That's a really good example, right? Like that's like for me. I don't know if I want it. Like the only way I'm doing that is like I'm trying to pitch him for jiu-jitsu in the process. You know what I mean? Like to make the $9 or $10, right?
But look, the point is like you got to try.
I agree.
You can't be comfortable, and you got to step out of your comfort zone. I mean, when I was I only did it for like a couple months, and it just didn't work out for me. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to make money on my drives. I'm going to make money on my tips.
Right.
So I would get out, open the door, and close the door for him.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah, I would give him a water.
Do you have a candy jar? Tell me you had a candy jar.
I didn't have a candy jar.
Oh, mint jar, dude. You should have had a mint jar.
That was my missing link.
Should have cross-market with other businesses. They go, hey, here, by the way, here's some discounts. Like, I'll save you 20% of anything around here.
And that's the thing. Like, you got to get out of your comfort zone. Talk to people who are in the same mindset, who are actually trying stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a think tank where you never get off your ass and do something, but the mint jar is probably what I was missing. If I would have had a candy jar,
dude, you got Andy's mints, and you hand me a couple, I don't know. That's funny. So we got a couple. So that's just okay. Depressed, poor. Those are kind of different things, right? But like the bottom line is, it comes down to like, do you believe what we're saying, right? Do you believe? And it's not just us. Like we're not the only one. We're not the only one saying this. Like there's so many people. Like the reason jiu-jitsu is growing rapidly is because it's extreme. Like it works, right? So we've got some comments coming in.
Before we go through those comments, Coach, like me and Coach David have a little bit different style. He's gonna get in your face, and he's gonna call you out and make sure that he holds you accountable. And I think any jiu-jitsu academy we probably wouldn't do this for every person who comes in here, but I would bet that any instructor that owns a jiu-jitsu academy will give you 100% money back guarantee. If you train jiu-jitsu and you're on a regular schedule, I don't care what you come in for. If you want some more confidence, you want to get in shape, you want to lose weight, you just want to feel better about yourself, they'll give you like a 90-day or 6-month, 100% money back guarantee.
Sure.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Just show up. So, that's all you got to do, and everything falls into place.
Absolutely. So we got Ryan Demarest.
What's up, Ryan?
Oh, he trains at 10th Planet in Livonia.
What up, Ryan?
I want to work on my gi training. No, you don't.
Coach David doesn't like the gi. He does not like the gi. You're talking to the wrong guy.
He says, "Are you close?" I do. I would talk to you. Like, I would talk to your coach, honestly. Like, they. So we get this a lot, right? Like, we'll get this pretty frequently. Like, we'll get someone that they're looking for a new academy.
He probably wants to pop in.
Yeah. So my first question is like, have you like if they're actually looking to transfer? We're not talking about a drop in, right? We're talking about like if you actually want to transfer. I'm like, oh, you want to train somewhere? Cool. What have you talked to your coach? Like, 'cause I'm not like I can't remember the coach over at 10th Planet. I know like Mitch and Chris Navasky still train over there, but like they talk to coach and kind of like see what's up, because I'm not in the business. We got like pretty much know all the owners in the area. Like, I'm not in the business of stealing, or we're not in the business of stealing other people's students, and like kind of creating that bad blood. It's just not worth it. And you got to be respectful to your coach who probably started you in jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. So I mean, we train gi. I mean, like Livonia, it's probably depending on it's getting busier over there now. So like
depending on the time, 25 minutes.
Yeah, 25. Yeah, mid 30. It's 30.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes.
Especially because 275 is closed now. Yeah, so it's 30 minutes, right? So it's 30 minutes, and but that's what I would say, right? Like, and they're that's what I would say. Check that out. He also says facts. If it wasn't for martial arts training, I'd probably be really unhappy with my life.
Yeah,
like I think that's a really kind of huge portion, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge portion of it. So do we have anything to add? We got some cool stuff coming up though in Metro. Really, really cool things. Like, we got our barbecue.
Yep.
That's our team barbecue. That's what, July?
Yes.
July. And then we're also doing the Wyandotte Street Fair. So we're going to be there. I think that's also July 13th through the 16th. And coming down, we're going to be doing a really cool promo on that one. We're actually going to be doing like but you got to be there. Like, I'm not going to give it away right now. So you got to come to the street fair, see our booth in person if you want to claim that promo, that one as well. And then what else? We got Professor Bruno.
Bruno's coming down for a seminar that's open to the public. He's a multiple-time world champion, gi and no gi, and he's produced at least a dozen world titles with all of his students. He's a very, very, very smart jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's an amazing coach. So we've had a bunch of our athletes fly down for a little while, and they've done like camps just to get ready for different world tournaments. So if you guys or anybody are interested in the tournament, we are in the seminar. He'll be down at the end of the month.
Right
so
on.
We got to post that for everybody.
Yeah.
But Ryan, you're more than welcome to pop in. And we do gi training multiple times a week.
We do. Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, open mat. A lot of our guys do no gi and open mat though. Sundays we do gi. So yeah, a lot of chance to do it. But I would talk to your coach. I can't remember the coach's name over there. It's bothering me. But talk to your coach. If you're actually looking to get more into that. Highly unlikely that they're going to offer a gi class, being that they're 10th Planet. But you never know. You could ask. So that's it, guys. As always, we will see you on the mats.